What is up, guys? It's your boy Rick Kakis, and today we have the guide to Tan-2, one of the initial mythical rarity characters within the new Destiny Rising game. Now guys, this was the first mythical character I got on my account, and when I pulled him, I was streaming at the time, twitch.tv/KakisHD, but when I got him, the vast majority of people in my chat were saying, he's kinda mid, he's not that good, he's hard to play. But after using him for a while, I can say, this is one of the most powerful characters in the game if you're using him right, and a lot of people are playing Tan-2 wrong. I know, because I was one of them. Guys, seriously, when you start to play him right, he is insane. And so, let's get started. So, Tan-2 is really unlike any other character in Destiny Rising because you have two different modes of this character. You essentially have two characters rolled into one. You have Dawnstar mode focused on healing, and then Duskstar mode focused on damage. And then you use one of your abilities, Twilight Shift, to change between these two modes. So, let's take a deeper look at his kit. First of all, you have the passive Flare. While in Dawnstar or Duskstar mode, Tan-2 can accumulate two different kinds of flare by dealing weapon damage. So using your scout rifles and sniper rifles will build up flare on your respective mode, with sniper rifles providing a lot more flare for each shot. When you reach 100 flare, when you've maxed out the bar on your particular mode, the other signature skill while in that mode will have an enhanced effect, and when you cast that signature skill, again with a full flare bar, it will deplete your flare, and then you will get the phosphorus buff for 6 seconds, and that will heal you and give you acceleration, as you can see. So, what that all means is that just dealing damage while using Tan-2 will eventually fill up that flare bar and give you a shot at a significantly boosted ability, guys. So let's take a closer look at those abilities. First of all, in the offensive Duskstar mode, you have Sunset as your signature ability. This shoots a fireball towards enemies that deals damage in an AoE and inflicts a damage over time Scorch and Corrupt, which makes those enemies take more incoming damage. So, good initial damage and damage over time, and essentially weakens them to take more incoming damage. This is an incredibly powerful offensive ability, guys. Now moving on to the super, yup, it's the Well of Radiance from Destiny 2. But whereas the D2 well will provide both healing and extra damage, this has those two effects split into the two modes. So on the Duskstar mode, you get Blessing of Dusk, where anyone standing within the well will get bonus damage. Then we have again our Twilight Shift to switch to Dawnstar mode, and here your signature ability will change to Sunrise. Guys, this is basically the Speaker's Sight healing grenades from Destiny 2. You shoot a healing orb forward to continuously heal allies and of course yourself. Really powerful healing ability. Then your super will change to Blessing of Dawn. So now anyone within your well will get healing at a high rate. So, that's what you initially get for this character. We're going to take a look at the other upgrades later, but already you have an extremely powerful package. And here is where people are playing this guy wrong, because initially you might think, oh, awesome, you can switch your mode depending on the encounter, switch your mode depending on the activity, depending on your team, right? When I first started to play this guy, I was playing with a friend who actually also had a Tan-2, and I remember saying, hey, you be the healing mode and I'll be the damage mode for this activity, and that makes a lot of sense, right? But again, that is playing this character wrong. Guys, you want to be spamming switches as often as possible. The power of this character comes from the fact that the abilities charge independently from one another while on the opposite mode. Let me show you. So I'm here in the world and I'm going to cast my Sunrise healing effect. Then I can switch over to the other mode and boom, my ability is still fully charged. I can cast the offensive signature ability. And guess what? When I switch back, my Sunrise healing ability is almost fully charged. In fact, if we zoom in a ton on these icons, you can see there's a small bar that is showing the charge of the ability on the opposite mode. And guys, again, this is the power of this champion, that you can just constantly switch and you basically have 2 signature abilities while every other character in the game has 1. Well, I guess 1 is taken up by the switching effect, but you know what I mean. They're charging independently, which means they're charging twice as fast than most other characters' signature abilities, because you use one, you swap, the other one's ready. You use that one, you swap, the other one's almost ready. You use that one, you swap, the other one's ready, right? And you will see in the background gameplay, I am just constantly swapping, using the ability, swapping back, using the ability, swapping back, using the ability, and this means you have incredibly fast recharging, both insane healing grenades, and also an insane offensive ability. Frankly, both of these abilities on their own would be great, right? Your offensive ability is somewhat similar to Wolf's offensive ranged ability, but yours has more damage potential with the Scorch and also with the Corrupt, like, weakening effect. Then your healing ability is one of the best in the game, like Sunrise, again, healing yourself and nearby allies. Like during a DPS phase, you can see I'm popping Sunrises and saving the entire team. It is a ton of healing you get from this ability. And again, I am shocked by the recharge. You get these abilities back incredibly fast, especially considering Sunrise is a continuous effect. You put your healing grenade out into the world, it will sit there and heal anyone inside of it while also recharging itself. So by the time your healing grenade runs out in the world and that healing effect goes away, it's like more than halfway back to being charged. It is crazy, guys. And then, of course, your super is Well of Radiance, the #1 most crutched super in Destiny 2, and you get it on Tan-2. Now, of course, having the DPS and healing versions split into 2 is a significant downside, but even just the healing it provides, like popping it before DPSing a boss, super useful, and you can actually get both the healing and the damaging effect once we take a look at the other upgrades. So, as you upgrade your abilities and super and gain power for this character, you will unlock relic traits. The first one is Miraculous Flame. Scout Rifle and Sniper Rifle precision hits extend Sunset Scorch's duration by 2 seconds and 5 seconds respectively. So you can do your Sunset, you inflict that Corrupt, you inflict that Scorch, then you start DPSing with your Sniper, and you're gonna make that Scorch last incredibly long. Now the next one you get is really interesting. Flare Flip. So while Tan-2's Well of Blessing is present, you can use your switch to change it between Blessing of Dawn and Blessing of Dusk. Now there is a cooldown when you do that, but that means you can start with like the damage mode, right, on a boss, everyone's doing crazy damage, and then when you start to take some, sketchy damage, you simply switch to the other mode and the well will switch to the healing version. And so that's how you're gonna get access to both the DPS and the healing versions of this well. You can flip between them while it's active. That is very, very powerful. And then finally, you get Efficient Conversion, where Scout and Sniper precision hits provide an additional amount of flare, so you just get to activate those boosted abilities more often and get Phosphorus more often. Then you have the weapon effect, Morning Star's Guidance. Again, this will eventually be upgradable when you increase the power by upgrading everything else enough. So this says while in the Phosphorus state, and remember, you get Phosphorus for using your signature skills, Sunrise or Sunset, when you have a full flare bar, then you're actually going to hit for an additional amount of solar damage equal to 20% of the weapon's damage. So basically, this is just even more DPS, and it's for as long as phosphorus lasts, guys. So that does mean, you know, if you have a full flare bar, you use your sunrise, you provide that healing grenade for yourself and your allies, oh, and you just got a 20% damage increase for like 6 seconds. That's really, really darn good. Or especially if you're using Sunset and you cast your attack, you're doing the Scorch, which you can extend, you're doing the Corrupt effect, and now you've boosted your damage with Phosphorus. Like, it is a crazy amount of DPS output, guys. And then the further upgrades just increase the damage even more so. So overall, again, the power of this character is not that you can select, you know, one mode for one part of the activity and switch to another mode for the another part of the activity. Is that you are constantly flipping back and forth, frankly, as fast as you can to take advantage of having two independently charging, extremely powerful signature skills, right? And then also you have just access to the most important things within a group: DPS and healing. You have them both depending on what you want for the given time. Really, the only time I would say, hey, make sure you're on one mode is you probably do want to start with the healing Well of Radiance when getting to the boss, until of course you unlock the version to flip it back and forth. Then you might want to start on DPS, guys. But an incredibly powerful character with one downside, one significant downside, guys, and that is the fact that you have to use scout rifles and sniper rifles. Now, sniper rifles are actually insane with this character because of the DPS. Like, you can just crank bosses with good sniper rifles with this guy because you're boosting your damage so high. But scout rifles, I have not found to be the best. I really wish I had a scout rifle perk that would spread around the damage, something like explosive payload. I haven't found one with explosive payload yet, but that would be a lot better for this character. But sometimes you can get a bit overwhelmed because your scout rifle is just a slow killing weapon. Now, eventually when you get exotic or mythical scout rifles, all of that is gonna change. As soon as you get a good, like, exotic scout rifle, this guy is just gonna be broken, right? So definitely a character to invest in, super useful on a team, so much healing, so much damage, great character. If you got him, you are very lucky. Guys, that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny Rising content, let me know in the comment section down below. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.